We all have a vision of our Disney World dream vacations, and they usually don't include saying these phrases, but believe it or not, you probably will. We'll let you know what they are today on DFB Guide. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, and today we are going to talk about a few phrases that the DFB team finds themselves saying over and over again in Walt Disney World on our vacations with our families that maybe we didn't expect to say when we were planning our trips. Let us know in the comments if you guys have found yourself saying and doing these things in Disney World that you didn't expect. First up, that was more fun in the rain. I know, you always want to avoid rain when you're in Disney World. You feel like you can't do anything in the rain, the rides close down, but believe it or not all the rides close down. And actually, when rain comes to Disney World, the parks empty out. Everybody leaves, which means you are free to get in those much shorter lines. Plus, the great part is that sometimes the rides are even better in the rain. It's kind of fun to ride Big Thunder Mountain or Splash Mountain in the rain. And at Kilimanjaro Safaris over in Animal Kingdom, you might get treated to some extra adorable animal playtime when the animals come out and play in the puddles. So it's super fun to catch them doing that. So be sure to keep your fast passes, stay in the park, get in those shorter lines. You may have the best day ever when it rains in Disney World. Next phrase you maybe never thought you would hear yourself saying in Disney World is go to time out. I don't know, moms and dads, if you guys use time out as a punishment, but we do, and my mom certainly did. And while everyone thinks Disney World is going to be kind of unicorns and rainbows and everybody's going to be happy all the time, the truth is your kids are the same kids, except they're exhausted, overstimulated, and hopped up on sugar. Plus, they barely slept last night because fireworks. And the same goes for you and your spouse. So my family has a funny story about when my mom made my brother and me go to time out, quote unquote, in Epcot when we were misbehaving. She told us to go stand by this pole and that she and my dad were going to leave us there. But luckily, they didn't leave us there, but we did have to stand by the pole and have time out for a while until we got our acts together. The same thing happens now. If you have kiddos, they may misbehave a little bit in Disney World. It happens to everyone, so plan ahead for meltdowns. Keep kids on their schedules, get enough rest and real food while you're there in order to combat that crazy. And also, moms and dads, maybe carry a little towel or a little piece of fabric that can function as your time out spot when you are in Disney World. And when you pull that out, this works especially well for toddlers. When you pull that out, they know that they need to sit on that timeout spot and they need to get it together before you guys can go on with your vacation. That kind of helps a lot because it solidifies in their heads that that's their timeout, that's their punishment spot. Next thing I want to mention, sobbing, crying. I know you never expect that you're going to start crying when you're in Disney World while you're planning that trip, but sometimes the Disney magic just gets to you and you start crying. Sometimes it happens during a nighttime show in Magic Kingdom or walking into Magic Kingdom for the first time and seeing Cinderella Castle there at the end of the street. I've started crying seeing my kids interact with the characters. Sometimes that emotion just gets to you, so be prepared. Bring some tissues or something because you may find yourself crying in Disney World when you never expected to cry on your spring break vacation. And you can completely use the excuse, by the way, that you're sleep deprived, that you were up all night for the fireworks and then you had to get up early for extra magic hours. That's fine. You make any excuse you need to make, but bring your tissues because you may start crying. And a lot of people don't ever think that they would say, hey, that was a great meal, or hey, that was a great glass of wine at Walt Disney World. A lot of people still think, regardless of everything we do and everything everybody else does to talk about the food at Disney World, a lot of people still think that all you're gonna get is burgers and chicken nuggets and pizza, and that there's not gonna be anything high-end or really good there. But of course there is. You guys know this. You've been following Disney Food Blog and DFB Guide. And Disney World has some really impressive wine and mixology programs in its lounges and restaurants. They also have some very high-end restaurants alone. So for a great glass of wine or a great cocktail, California Grill, Wine Bar George, Chico all have outstanding wine selections. And we're talking award-winning here, you guys. Like award-winning, not just for theme parks, but for all restaurants everywhere. And you'll also find rare and expensive liquors like at La Cava del Tequila over in Mexico Pavilion in Epcot. I just got a message that their most expensive shot is even more expensive than it was when we made that most expensive things video a couple weeks ago. So you've got a $207 Supreme flight and some other really, really high-end tequila shots there. And lots of lounges have exclusive and unique beverages as well, like the magic-inspired drinks at Abracadabra and the tiki-themed cocktails at Trader Sam's. These are super fun, actually pretty delicious, and use high-end ingredients. So don't limit your opportunities for great food and great drinks in Disney World. Next thing you'd never think you'd hear yourself say, I love waiting in this line. Yeah, there's a lot of lines in Disney World. There's a lot of queue lines in Disney World. But Disney's really making an effort to make those queue lines and that waiting more pleasurable and more interesting for everybody. And Disney's transformed waiting in line into an attraction of its own at several locations in Disney World. So you're going to look for these interactive queue lines on rides like Winnie the Pooh, Peter Pan, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and even Dumbo has an interactive play area for kids. Parents are given buzzers for when it's time to ride. Sometimes when that buzzer goes off, those kids don't even want to leave the play area to go ride Dumbo. So parents are like, wait, we gotta go ride. You can't play in this playground all day. But it's really fun. So they've really done some good work to make waiting in those queue lines a little bit more palatable. And remember, even if you're stuck in a non-interactive queue, you can still pull up that Play Disney Parks app to keep you and your family entertained with trivia and games while you're waiting to ride the ride. Plus, once Galaxy's Edge opens, you'll have all that extra Play Parks interaction where you can hack security cameras and translate the Star Wars language while you're waiting in line. Next thing nobody expects to say in Disney World, I gotta have a salad. Yeah, we know here at DFB more than anybody else how much great food there is in Disney World and how much you really want to go off your diet and off the wagon while you're there. Well, do it, go ahead, but it may become a little bit too much every once in a while and you might need to just regress and have that salad. Just because you're craving something a little bit lighter than that heavy, calorie-laden food you've been having. So luckily, Disney World has some great salads worth ordering, even if you're not looking to cut back on the sweets. Good examples that we love, that Cobb salad at Brown Derby in Hollywood Studios is a must-get, very famous dish. The strawberry salad at the Plaza in the Magic Kingdom is delicious, very light, very fresh. And then Liberty Tree Tavern and Homecoming both have really highly recommended salads. We have a blog post over on Disney Food Blog where our readers voted on the best salads in Disney World, so go check that out. Next thing you may not expect to say in Disney World, hey, was that Iron Chef Morimoto? Not only does Disney Springs have some incredible celebrity chef-owned restaurants, but sometimes you can catch that chef at special events and actually meet them, which is so cool. Iron Chef Masaharu Morimoto shows up over there at Morimoto Asia from time to time, especially for special events. Chef Art Smith is at Homecoming once in a while over there in Disney Springs, and other celebrity chefs you might catch a glimpse of in Disney World include Jose Andres, Rick Bayless, Wolfgang Puck, and Guy Fieri. So definitely keep your eyes open. Those last three don't come that often, but Chef Morimoto, Chef Bayless, and Chef Smith are there on occasion. Next thing you didn't expect to say in Disney World, this crowd is awesome. Yeah, crowds are something we typically try to avoid at all costs when we're in Disney World. But when you're watching a show and you're in a huge crowd like Fantasmic, or you're watching in front of Cinderella Castle, you can experience some pretty magical moments with your fellow park goers. So when the chaos is controlled, it can actually be pretty fun to enjoy things with everybody else. Especially over at Festival of the Lion King, where the crowd is actually a part of the show. It's so much more fun when there's lots of people there. And then the last thing we never thought that we would say in Disney World, who's ready to go home? There comes a time when you just can't with the Disney anymore. I know you guys don't believe that. You don't think it's possible for your trip, but it is, especially if you pack a lot in. So whether it's the heat or the crowds or your family's just losing their minds, Aunt Susan's out of control, everybody needs to take a break sometime. So keep this in mind as you're planning. I know you want to pack everything into every day. I do too. I'm the same way. I fall victim to this all the time. My husband gets so upset. But just about every family hits the point where even though you spent 5 years planning this vacation, you need to cut bait and just take a break. Keep an eye on your family's signals. Don't keep pushing them to one more fast pass or one more reservation if they're not going to be able to handle it. And if everyone's just going to be upset after that, you're not going to enjoy the fast pass or the reservation. Just head home. head back to the hotel, take a break, swim in the pool, relax a little bit, and then regroup and try again tomorrow. Just leave yourself the space to do that, you guys. I know how hard it is when you've planned this trip forever, you're paying a ton of money, and you want to get the most out of it. You'll get more out of it by making sure everybody stays happy than by making sure you ride every single ride. So I hope that's helpful, and I hope these are some things you guys have maybe found yourself saying that you didn't expect, or will help you plan ahead for your trips to know that these things do happen, and you may find yourself feeling these same feelings. So let us know in the comments, what are your experiences? What have you felt here that we mentioned today? What are some ways that you had a great time in the rain, or you loved a particular queue line, you started to cry while you were in Disney World? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your experiences, you guys. It's so much more fun for us to be able to hear your personal anecdotes too. Thank you for listening. Thanks for watching. Please hit that subscribe button and like this video if you liked it. Give us a thumbs up. We're so glad you're here with us over here at DFB Guide. This is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.